Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto Was Like Gaara, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Last time. Congratulations, you all pass, said Ibiki. But so what was the 10th question? Asked Sakura. Choosing to stay or leave was the 10th question. The exam itself was to gather information, as ninja are often given these jobs. It is vital to the success of the mission that the ninja is not caught, but if he is, then he won't abandon his comrades to the enemy, said Ibiki. Suddenly a woman dressed in a Titan trench coat flew through the windows. Ibiki, you're too easy on 'em. Oh well, I'll weed out more than half of them, said the woman. She wore a black t-shirt with a fishnet shirt over that, fishnet leggings with a black mini skirt. Her purple hair was tied into a ponytail behind her head so that it stuck out spiked. Anko, you're early once again, said an annoyed Ibiki, who shook his head looking at the rather attractive woman before him. Well then, I guess I'll do the interdictions. I'm Anko and I'll be your second instructor today. Now follow me, you worthless group of maggots. We're going to Forest 44 for the next part of the exam, said Anko, disappearing in a puff of smoke. Everyone in the room left and headed to the training ground that she had told them to meet her at. Upon arriving there, they saw her waiting for them. Alright, you gaggle of maggots, listen up. I'm gonna give you each a scroll. Your objective is to get the opposite scroll from another team, said Anko, handing each team a scroll. Alright, we've got a heaven scroll, so that means we'll need an earth scroll, said Kiba as he gave Hinata the scroll. Now then, the rules are simple. You will have a week to find the opposite scroll to the one you've got. Do not under any circumstances open the scroll until you get to the tower in the middle of the forest. You will not be allowed admittance to the tower without both scrolls, so good luck, she said as she called each team to a gate that led into the fence-surrounded forest. On the whistle, the gates will open and your timer will start, called Anko through a bullhorn. Everyone waited on bated breath before the whistle sounded and they were off into the dark forest. Naruto and his team raced into the forest. They had all agreed that Kiba should carry the scroll in his bag with Akamaru. Flashback. I know you don't have many ninjutsu that doesn't require Akamaru, but if he's in there and someone grabs the bag, he can give them a surprise attack, giving us enough time to retrieve the bag and scroll, said Naruto as they walked to the forest gate. End flashback. They raced through the forest for a few hours before the sun was at its peak, telling them it was midday. Alright, let's stop and rest, said Naruto, whom both Kiba and Hinata decided should be team leader. Flashback. We're gonna need a team leader, said Kiba. Alright then, you can do it, said Naruto. Why, hey, why me? Asked Kiba. Simple, you've got the nose, said Naruto, thinking the argument was over. Said Hinata, causing Naruto to sigh. Hinata, how is anyone gonna know what's on your mind if you don't speak up, said Naruto kindly. Well, I think that you should be the leader, Naruto, said Hinata. This caused Naruto to freeze. Yeah, you'd make a better leader than I would, said Kiba. Oh, and please elaborate on how you both agree on that, asked Naruto, raising an eyebrow. Well, you're strong, said Hinata. You're a brilliant strategist and you're a smooth talker, said Kiba, remembering the bell test. But I'm not cut out for the leadership post. The bell test was just using you to get Kakashi to fall into my trap, said Naruto. You still directed us and the plan worked, said Hinata. Hinata, Kiba, said Naruto, unable to find a way to talk his way out of this. He finally shook his head with a foxy grin. He said, Alright, but if I screw up, it's on your heads, not mine, said Naruto. Don't worry, buddy, you won't screw up, said Kiba with a grin as Akamaru gave a muffled bark from within the backpack. End flashback. They came to rest outside a small lake that was surrounded by trees. Naruto started to perform hand signs at speeds that they were a blur to both Hinata and Kiba. Once he was finished, the air shimmered around the area slightly, then he turned to his team and pulled out a small scroll. He unrolled it, then touched one of them in a puff of smoke. 3 small fish appeared from within the scroll. They were wrapped in aluminum foil that was slightly charred. I made these this morning, so they should still be warm, said Naruto, unwrapping one of the fish and tossing one to Kiba and Hinata. Ah, thanks Naruto, said Kiba, unwrapping his own and began to eat it, as did Hinata. One bite and both their eyes popped open. Sorry, it isn't too good. I never had much of a knack for cooking, said Naruto, touching the scroll again, causing 3 empty cups to appear. Naruto, are you insane? This is delicious, said Kiba as tears flowed from his eyes. Yes, Naruto, it is really good, said Hinata with a small smile. This caused Naruto's eyes to pop out of his head. You can't be serious, he said. They both gave him dagger-like stares as if he'd said a foul curse word. Okay, sorry, I won't criticize my own cooking, said Naruto, taking a bite of his fish. Suddenly the wind picked up. Behind them they turned to see a vortex had whipped up around a hidden rain ninja. He was wearing an oxygen mask over his face, hiding it. His body was covered in a yellow swimsuit. He wasn't gasping for air, as was what usually happened when someone fell prey to this jutsu. Alright, you got about 30 seconds before you S from decompression within the vortex, so you can either S or give us your scroll, said Naruto. I don't have it, choked the ninja. Naruto shrugged his shoulder and walked away from the ninja and sat back down to finish his fish with Hinata and Kiba. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, he said as the sound of something exploding was heard. He smirked. One down, escaped his lips that were now curled into a smile. Naruto, said Hinata. He looked at her confused. What, he was an enemy and I don't take prisoners, said Naruto as the sadistic smile crept onto his face. Naruto, I'm glad we're on the same team, said Kiba, throwing his fish bones into the lake. Naruto then got up and walked over to the bloody remains of the ninja. Blood was scattered across the area like someone had taken hundreds of gallons of red paint and dumped it everywhere. Some of his guts and pieces of F littered the ground. Naruto took in a deep breath. He relished in the smell of fresh blood. Then he saw lying on the ground was an earth scroll. He picked it up and cleaned the blood off of it, then brought it back to his team. Looks like we're heading for the middle of the forest early, he said, holding up the earth scroll. That's great, said Hinata. Naruto, where did you get that? Asked Kiba. I found it on what was left of that rain ninja, said Naruto, throwing him the scroll to put in the pack with their other scroll. Suddenly a girl's scream was heard echoing throughout the area. What was that? Asked Naruto, covering his ears. That sounded like Sakura, said Kiba, sniffing the air. She's that way, he said, pointing towards the west of their position. Naruto and Hinata nodded. Lead the way, Kiba, said Naruto. Then they took off towards the scent. Upon arriving they saw Sakura guarding an unconscious Shino. Sasuke was fighting a grass ninja. His end stretched towards Sasuke's unprotected end only to be stopped inches from biting it. The head turned to see Hinata was grabbing the ninja's extended T. So little girl, you want to play, said the ninja in a hiss-like voice. He then turned his end to bite her when she disappeared in a puff of smoke. A shadow clone, thought the ninja. As his head returned to his body, then 3 blurs appeared in front of Sasuke. Heard someone scream, thought you could use a hand, said Naruto. What are you doing here, idiot? We had everything under control, said Sasuke. Funny because from where we're standing you 3 look like you're on your last legs, said Kiba. Hinata, Kiba, keep them back, I'll handle this guy, said Naruto. The tone of his voice caused them both to shudder. Sakura looked at them confused as to why they would not only listen to Naruto but also shudder from the tone in his voice. May I ask the name of my foe, said Naruto. Orochimaru, said the ninja. Naruto, said Naruto as both took a fighting stance. Then Orochimaru threw several kunai at Naruto only to watch him catch each one with his fingers then throw them back. Orochimaru dodged the attack, then he did a set of hand signs. Summoning jutsu, shouted Orochimaru as a giant snake appeared in a puff of smoke with Orochimaru on top of its head. Naruto smirked, then ran right at the snake. He then disappeared, then reappeared covered in blood, then blood gushed from the snake's end as it fell to the ground. Its body thrashed around uncontrollably before it disappeared in a puff of smoke. Impressive, said Orochimaru as he preformed the same hand signs, causing 3 snakes to appear. Naruto's smirk grew as his eyes glowed with the need for more blood, then he disappeared again. The snakes soon fell to a pile of bloody pieces. For those of you who've watched it, think Resident Evil 1 in the laser room at the beginning of the movie. A clang of metal was heard as Orochimaru blocked Naruto's attack with his own kunai. Naruto smirked, then backed off and then ran at the man. Orochimaru licked his kunai then attacked Naruto. Another clang of metal was heard then a yells that echoed throughout the forest. Naruto jumped back, his breathing was heavy and labored. Orochimaru was clutching his face as it sprouted blood through his fingertips. Come now, is that all you've got? Asked Naruto. Orochimaru started to laugh as he removed his hand from his face to show snow-white skin beneath the titan skin as well as a yellow eye with a vertical pupil that resembled a snake's eye. So you want to play rough, huh? Said Orochimaru. He then did a set of hand signs. Snake poison fang jutsu, he shouted but wasn't aiming for Naruto. Two fangs shot from his mouth towards Hinata. Naruto disappeared in the blind of an eye and took the fangs in the arm. His eyes were no longer blue but scarlet red. His pupils became vertical SS. A red chakra began to swirl around his body. His fingernails became longer and claw-like. His whisker marks became thicker. His eyes were then had a dark outline around them. Never try to harm my friends, he growled as the fangs fell from his arm as the wound hissed, causing it to close while steam issued from it. Well, you're just full of surprises, aren't you? Said Orochimaru while Naruto smirked. You don't know the half of it, he said as he did a set of hand signs. Fire wind style, flaming vortex jutsu, shouted Naruto as the wind picked up and then fire appeared from within the vortex. Naruto then caused the vortex to float towards Orochimaru, who did a set of hand signs. Summoning jutsu, he shouted as a giant gate appeared from beneath the ground blocking the flaming vortex. He was so preoccupied with the jutsu that he didn't notice the air around him shimmer. Wind style, vacuum vortex jutsu, shouted Naruto as a vortex appeared around Orochimaru who turned into a rock. A substitution, thought Naruto as Orochimaru appeared behind him. He then started to thrust a kunai in Naruto's back but was stopped by a strange wave of pain in his stomach. He looked down to see a chakra tail had LD through his body. He looked at Naruto to see he was covered in the fox shroud. Naruto turned to Orochimaru with a smirk. Suddenly he disappeared in a puff of smoke. A shadow clone, huh? Well, if that's how you want to play, said Naruto performing the single hand sign. Shadow clone jutsu, he shouted as the area was filled with 20 Narutos. Alright, you guys find him, said Naruto. The clones nodded and disappeared. Naruto then turned to his team. You guys alright? He asked, looking them over. They both nodded. He then looked at Team 7. What about you two, you alright? Asked Naruto. They both nodded. Naruto's mind was bombarded with images from the shadow clones as they were defeated by Orochimaru. He shuddered as one fell into the jaws of a summoned snake, then his face went pale, not from the images in his head but the image that was right in front of him. Orochimaru had Sakura by the T with a kunai inches away from it. I couldn't sense him, he thought. Or what's the matter, QB brat, afraid that I might kill your little friend here? Asked Orochimaru slyly. Naruto shrugged. Her, she's of no importance to me, said Naruto. Orochimaru smirked as he slid the kunai across her T only to watch her disappear in a puff of smoke. A shadow clone, said Orochimaru. Yeah, I had a feeling you'd try something like that, so I made Hinata, Kiba, Sasuke, Sakura, and Shino leave the area. You and I are the only ones here, said Naruto, smirking as he fell on all fours. Now I can show you my true power, said Naruto again as his fox shroud began to bubble as a second tail formed. Then a third tail formed. Naruto let out an inhuman roar that echoed throughout the area. He then ran towards Orochimaru at a godlike speed. He then clenched his fist and punched Orochimaru, sending him flying through several trees. He then ran at the snake ninja and slashed his stomach only to see snakes pull him back together. Orochimaru did a set of hand signs. Snake imprisonment jutsu, he said as a giant cage made of snakes appeared from the ground. Naruto slashed at the cage with his chakra claws, causing them to burn and once he was free, he set his sights on Orochimaru to see him disappearing within a tree only to be grabbed by Naruto and pulled out, then slammed into the ground. Naruto then did a set of hand signs. Fire style, QB Inferno Jutsu. He shouted as 9 balls of fire appeared behind him then blew towards Orochimaru like a set of flamethrowers. Orochimaru had little time to act as he disappeared into the ground. Naruto then jumped to the ground to see he had disappeared. Suddenly 5 glowing lights of chakra appeared beneath his feet. 5 elemental prong seal, shouted Orochimaru, hitting Naruto in the stomach. Naruto suddenly felt all of his power leave him. He fell to the ground still conscious. Interesting, you actually managed to harm me, said Orochimaru, grabbing Naruto by his en and picking him up. Naruto could see that part of Orochimaru's arm had a shiny burn on it. Orochimaru then opened his mouth, allowing a sword to come out of his tea. Using his tongue, he made to S down when he heard fang over fang. Then two vortexes flew towards him. He dropped Naruto and disappeared in a puff of smoke. "We'll meet again, Naruto, we'll meet again," said Orochimaru as he disappeared into a tree. "Naruto," shouted Hinata as she ran over to help him. "Thanks, Kiba," said Naruto, getting to his feet by the time Hinata got to him. "Dude, I think when we get to the tower you need to rest for a bit," said Kiba. "No, there'll be ninja waiting around there to attack anyone coming towards it," said Naruto. He then felt himself falling backwards as his world became dark. Naruto was the last thing he heard from whom he wasn't sure. Naruto awoke to find himself lying on a very comfortable bed. There was a heavy object on his chest. He looked to see Hinata was once again there. He laid there for a while until she stirred. She looked to see Naruto was awake. The shot straight up her face was as red could get. I'm SSSOOO right, she said. "You know, Hinata, I've got this strange feeling that you like me," said Naruto with a smirk, causing Hinata to become so red her blood vessels threatened to burst. www.ggggivvsyyouthtH that id asked Hinata. "Well, the fact that you always blush when you're around me, the fact that last 2 times I've been bedridden I've woken to find you laying on my chest having been up worrying about me," said Naruto. His smirk was even bigger. "IMMMSS so right," she stuttered. "Funny thing is I don't see anything to apologize about because I like you too, Hinata," said Naruto. Hinata looked at him for a few seconds, then hit the floor with a loud thud. This caused Naruto to bust up laughing as he helped her into his bed. He then walked out of the room after Hinata had awoken. She then told him that Sasuke's team had helped them get to the tower, plus got themselves a heaven scroll. "So what was inside the scrolls?" asked Naruto as they made their way to the entrance room of the tower where Kiba was waiting for them. "Hey Hinata, Naruto, I see you're finally up. What happened?" asked Kiba. "I'm not sure. That Orochimaru guy attacked me from below with some weird jutsu, then the next thing I know Kyuubi's power was gone," said Naruto. "Well, now that you're up, how about we open the scroll, leader?" asked Kiba, tossing him a scroll. "Husum, leader, not even 5 minutes into the forest and I'm down for the count," said Naruto bitterly. "Naruto, if it wasn't for you Sakura would have been killed by that guy," said Kiba. "Yeah, and you're also the one who defeated that rain ninja," said Hinata without a single stutter. "Alright, stop patronizing me and let's open these things," said Naruto. He pulled one as Kiba pulled the other at the same time. There was a puff of smoke, then Iruka appeared before them. "Iruka-sensei," said all 3 of them. "Hey guys," said Iruka. "Iruka-sensei, what are you doing here?" asked Hinata. "The whole point of this exam was for you to obtain the scrolls, right?" said Iruka. They all 3 nodded. "Well, a ninja is oftentimes given secret docents that he must not open for one reason or another. Also, it showed whether or not you could keep the scrolls safe once you had both of them, and I must say you 3 did splendidly. The scrolls themselves were a summoning jutsu that would call us regardless as to whether you had both scrolls. But if you had only one scroll, you were to be knocked out by me or whoever you were to summon, then you would fail the exam," said Iruka with like he was giving a lecture to his former students again. "So now that that's settled, tell me what you 3 have been up to since you left the academy," said Iruka. They then began to tell Iruka about what happened when they took Tazuna to the Land of Waves, how Naruto wasn't as much of a psychopathic cur as he was before. "I'll still K if I can," said Naruto, defending himself when it was brought up. They then told him about what had happened in the forest. "Well guys, sounds to me like you've had a pretty eventful day," said Iruka. "I'll have to tell Lord Hokage about Orochimaru," he thought. "Yeah, so now what are we going to do next, sensei?" asked Kiba. "Well, you'll have a week off to train, then there'll be a preliminary fight examination," said Iruka. They all 3 nodded. "Now then, you 3 are free to go," said Iruka with a huge grin. "They've grown up so much it's hard to believe they're really the same kids that I taught only a few months ago," thought Iruka. The 3 Chunin hopefuls nodded, then walked out the door and headed to the village for some R&R. "Hey Naruto, you gonna train with that guy Jiraiya again?" asked Kiba. "Yeah, he's really an amazing teacher. He helped me unlock more of Kyuubi's power while I trained with him. I hope he can remove this seal," he said, pointing to The 5 elemental seal on his stomach that overshadowed the normal seal that the 4 Hokage placed on him. The 3 friends turned to each other and said the goodbyes, then headed home. Well, one did anyway. Hey Hinata, I've just remembered something, said Naruto. Hinata stopped and turned to him. Whatif, she stuttered. On the bridge at the Land of Waves, you wanted to tell me something. What was it? Asked Naruto. Hinata's face turned as red could get. Well, I wanted. Come on Hinata, I told you before, how is anyone gonna know what you want if you don't speak up? Said Naruto teasingly. www.ellillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillillllillillllillillillll. Said Hinata. Looked at her in shock. You do? He said in disbelief. All Hinata could do was nod at this point. Hinata, said Naruto. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to upset you, she shouted. What upset me? How could you upset me with that? Do you know how long I've waited for someone to say that to me? Said Naruto. Naruto, said Hinata. Naruto then walked over to her. He wasn't sure why he was doing it, but it felt right. He leaned in and kissed her on the lips. Hinata felt stunned. Naruto's kissing me, oh, what do I do? She thought. Then it was as if it was automatically answered for her as she kissed him back. After about 5 seconds they both released only to breath. I'm sorry Hinata, I shouldn't have done that, said Naruto. Why do I feel this way towards her? What is this feeling? He thought. It's alright Naruto, I'm not mad, she said with a smile on her face. Really? He asked. This time she leaned in and kissed him. After 5 seconds they broke apart. I'll take that as a yes, said Naruto with a smile. She smiled back at him. Then they walked back to her house. To find Hiashi waiting for Hinata. The sight of the two of them holding hands made him smirk. Then he put on the stern face look. Hinata, what are you doing? He asked as sternly as he could. FFFAAAATH her Naruto's JJ just www walking me home, said Hinata. It looks more like he's holding your hand to me, said Hiashi sternly again. I'm sorry sir, it's just I really like your daughter and she likes me too, said Naruto pulling his hand away. This caused Hiashi to give him a death glare. If I ever catch you so much as thinking of any other girl besides Hinata, I'll break your N, said Hiashi trading his stern look with a smile. You approve father, said Hinata without stuttering. This surprised Hiashi the most. Yes, I approve, he's a good man and I know he'll protect you, said Hiashi. Naruto then pulled Hinata towards him and kissed her full on the mouth again. This caused Hinata to faint. Hinata, we've really got to work on that, said Naruto while Hiashi stood there leaning against a fence post laughing so hard tears fell from his eyes. He then took Hinata inside and bade Naruto a good night. Naruto nodded, then went back to his apartment with only one thing on his mind. Someone loves me, he thought. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.